Today on In Focus, with award-winning host Yesenia Taveras, right now online is Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Ayanna Khan on WITN 22.
Hello and welcome to In Focus. I'm your host Yesenia Taveras. Joining me today is Ayanna Khan, the founder of Khan Consulting LLC and the founder, president, and CEO of the newly Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce. Ayanna joins us today to share with us her journey as an entrepreneur and the work she's done in the nonprofit sector as a grant writer. She joins me now. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Yesenia, thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate this opportunity.
Yes, our pleasure. We know that you have a lot of things going on right now in your entrepreneurship journey. But before we get to the good stuff, we want to talk about a little bit of your background. So for those who don't know Ayanna Khan, take us back to when you were born and raised in Trinidad, then you found your way to Brooklyn, New York, and then made your way to Delaware.
Okay, yes. So Ayanna Khan was born and raised in Trinidad. And my upbringing was, was very, different to some folks. I grew up in a home with two parents that were entrepreneurs. My dad built a global business for himself and supported the family through that business. And my family and I basically migrated to the United States when I was younger. Completed my schooling in Brooklyn, New York. We moved to Flatbush, which is like, it's the Mecca, right? It's a stomping grounds for all the islands, for all nationalities, all countries in the globe. So basically migrating to the United States, I assimilated quickly with the culture because there were other folks in Brooklyn from Trinidad. A lot of my friends were from the islands, were from different parts of the globe. So it was easy for us to assimilate. We still had the same food that we would get back home. And we were also exposed to a culture, not just in the home, but outside of the home, in school and things like that. So at first it was a little bit of a culture shock, getting used to the four seasons and things like that. But it worked out.
And at what point did you decide to move to Delaware?
My family and I moved to Delaware 10 years ago, actually, this month. This month is our 10-year anniversary as Delawareans. And we just moved here for an opportunity, employment opportunity for my ex-spouse. And we liked the real estate. We liked the schools. We've been here ever since.
Wonderful. And you briefly spoke about your parents having the entrepreneurial lifestyle when you were a child growing up. Talk to us a little bit about that. And did it play any type of role in your life, or how did it impact your life having parents as entrepreneurs?
When I was younger, it didn't really have an effect on me because I wasn't aware of what was really taking place. So my dad went by the nickname Pan Man, P-A-N, that's much in the accent, Pan Man, right? P-A-N-M-A-N. So in Trinidad, our local instrument is the steel drum. And he would take old rusted drums and turn them into a beautiful chromed steel pan that plays beautiful, beautiful music. And he reads music, he creates music, he does all that self-taught. And we didn't realize the type of impact that he had on our culture on the island and globally. He brought this culture to Cuba, Nigeria, Europe, several different places. He taught in Japan for 20 years at a Japanese school, bringing that steel drum culture there. But I didn't realize that impact until I got older. I just knew at home it would just be really loud with him making those notes, those music notes, and tuning the pan, so to speak, to play that beautiful music. And it wasn't until I became an adult myself and I realized, okay, this man really made an impact, not just on our the island of Trinidad and Tobago, but globally. And it just amazed me how, looking back for my own journeys and challenges as an entrepreneur, how successful he was and how he was able to support us for many, many years. He's retired now, but for many, many years, just through his own vision and just bringing on the right people with him. My parents traveled a lot because of this work. And we didn't really understand it. Why do we have to? We basically had a caretaker that would come stay with us while they're traveling the world. Sometimes my mom would go and sometimes she wouldn't go. But for the times that she did travel with him, we had a caretaker, and it was, as children, it was upsetting. We were small and we were young, and we, why do you have to go again? But now it all makes sense. Like, he made a major sacrifice and major contribution to the society and the globe as a whole.
And being an entrepreneur can bring sometimes both chaos, but also structure in a family's life. And your parents really brought structure when it came to education. Talk to us about that part of your life and how your parents were very big on making sure that you did well in school.
Yeah, so my parents, any West Indian parent, education is huge, right? They will push for you to get a great education. And even though both my parents didn't go to college, they still pushed education for us. We would need to be doctors or lawyers or nurses or whatever the case may be. That's what they pushed. Don't bring anything home that's less than an A, right? So that was really the premise at home. Go to school and study. And that was your only focus in life, really, nothing else. So, that was instilled in me from a young child to just go to school and do my best. And I always did that. Always made national ranks when it came to education. Who's Who among high school students, 1997 made that list because of their push on how important it is to be educated. They did not push basically what their background was. They were not college educated, but they realized the importance of having that education, realizing that having a college education will give you the freedom that you needed in society was what was really instilled in me and my siblings. So that was always my goal: go to school and focus and bring home straight A's.
And you focused very well. You not only received a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice Administration, but you ultimately earned a master's degree in Human Services Administration. So those are two very distinctive, different careers. Talk to us about that transition in your life, and then ultimately we'll go into how you found your calling in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so as a small child, my childhood dream was to become an attorney. And my parents also pushed that because I will debate you down if I feel strongly about a certain position that I may have. So that was a career goal for me when I was younger. So I took the necessary steps to become an attorney. I decided, okay, I will first get a bachelor's in criminal justice as the pathway before going into law school. However, life happens and things doesn't always go as planned, right? So once I received my bachelor's degree in criminal justice, it was kind of a pause in my education at that point, because at that point I started a family, got married, and had a baby at 21 years of age. So, it kind of pause that track, because then at that point I was becoming a housewife, right? So kind of like my dream got deferred. It wasn't until later in life, in 2013, when I completed my master's degree in human services, that I realized, okay, that was just something that I needed to do for myself. I needed to get that extra step, go to the extra step, just something I needed to do for myself, because my education was put on pause because I decided to be a wife and a mother, a stay-at-home mom.
And thank you for being so transparent, because there's a lot of women who can relate to your story, your journey. A lot of women become stay-at-home mothers just to make sure that they're giving that one-on-one attention to their newborn. But in the midst of this, you did end up going back to work, and you had some experience in corporate America, but then you ultimately got laid off. So take us through that transition in your life.
Yeah, so I decided my daughter was probably 4 or 5 at the time, and I went, I started seeking employment. So I started working in the corporate world in about, I think it was 2005. I got an entry-level position with a telecommunications company. And at that point, I felt like she was old enough. She was getting ready to get into school. She was on the pre-K level. And at that point, as parents, her dad and I were comfortable that it's okay. So at that point, I got into the workforce, and it was fulfilling. I liked it, going to work. It was my first real full-time job. But it was fulfilling. There were things, where I had to balance work and family life, but it worked out okay until I got laid off in 2015. And for me, it wasn't really so much of a hard blow or that much of a effect on me, a negative effect. I looked at it more positively, because at that moment I rethought everything. Like, what am I going to do next? Definitely don't want to go back into corporate America, because with corporate politics and things like that, there could be another possibility of getting laid off again. And, don't want to go through that transition again. So I decided, okay, so I went to school for human services, and I know I wanted to give back to my community. And then I just thought about it, did some research. How am I going to give back to my community? Completing my master's, I was able to take nonprofit classes, nonprofit management classes, grant writing classes. And I was really good at the grant writing aspect of it. Got great feedback and grades from my professors. So I interned at that point in 2013 with a local nonprofit in Middletown, and expressed my my interest to the executive director of that nonprofit that I wanted to begin grant writing for her organization. And she said it was perfect. She was really excited about it, because she didn't have the time really to do that. So she gave me an opportunity to write a grant for Delaware Division of Arts, and I wrote the grant, and we got the funding. Then there was another funding opportunity through Walmart Foundation. We also got the funding there. So I said, I can possibly do this for a living, right? Gotten great feedbacks from my professor, was able to secure funding for this nonprofit so they can offer their programs and their events to the community, which is the community I lived in, the MLT area. So it was perfect. So I started doing research and decided, okay, I can start a business. So I officially started the business in 2015. And at that point, I was getting laid off, was becoming closer. So I kind of just transitioned right out of my full-time position as a finance coordinator for this telecommunications company as my own boss, as now a nonprofit consultant with the primary service of grant writing for nonprofits in the area.
And one could be very timid in going into the nonprofit sector, but here you are, and within 5 years, very successful. And is it true that you've actually secured over $4 million?
That is true. That is true. We have secured over $4.5 million in funding for nonprofits in Delaware. And we have a couple clients outside of Delaware, but yes, we have done so. The programs and the clients that I work with, along with our grant writing efforts, but their programs are really amazing. Great things and change makers for the community as a whole. So, it's really their vision that we just bring to light, bring to the prospects and the funders that are out there with our grant writing efforts, and just write them in the best light to get that funding. So I wouldn't take sole credit for that.
It's still, we all know it takes a team to be successful, but the fact that you just went ahead and jumped out on faith and just knowing that you can do all things that are possible for you in regards to your skill sets in becoming a grant writer, securing over $4.5 million. Right now, during this pandemic, there's a lot of people with that entrepreneurship spirit. They want to open their own business. They might have just been laid off from their job, their employer. But here you are, a true testament that it can happen no matter where you're at in your life, at what level. You could be entry level, intermediate, proficient at what it is that you're doing. But talk to that person who is, or where you were once in those shoes, who is currently in those shoes, trying to navigate their life to figure out if they should go ahead and follow their passion just like you did.
Yeah, I would always say to that individual that's second guessing themselves, stop. Just stop it. Just do it. Just go for it. Like Nike says, just do it. Because really we can get in our own way and we can talk ourselves out of things. And for me, I'm a risk taker. I'm always like on the edge, and just do it. You have it within yourself. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Of course, do your research and in your industry, whatever that may be, do your research, do your due diligence, and definitely take the leap. It's worth it. There is opportunities out there where, okay, you may get a pay raise and you may get a better paying job or a better position. But for me, in my opinion, entrepreneurship really the way to bridge the wealth gap and end poverty and to pass something on to your children and your children's children is really the way to go to build generational wealth and bridge the wealth gap, especially for minorities. So I would always tell anyone, go that route. Even if you have a full-time job, what is your side hustle? What is your talent? What is that looking like? Expand on that. Look at that other opportunities and those other revenue generating opportunities that you may have within yourself.
And I'm just listening to your story and I'm thinking to myself, after securing over $4.5 million, working in the nonprofit sector, being a successful grant writer, you could have stopped there because you're already so successful, but you saw the need to make more impact in our community, specifically with the minority sector. And so you created the Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce. Talk to us about the Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce and why you saw the need in creating this organization for Delaware Black business owners.
Well, for me, I started getting involved in the business community since 2013. And I have been involved with 4 different chambers within the state. I have had a paid membership with 3 of them. I've sat on the board as the first and only Black woman on one of them. And I saw the disconnect really when it came to minority businesses, specifically Black businesses. I saw that firsthand. I experienced it firsthand as a small business owner myself. My colleagues and friends that have small businesses like mine also had different testimonies where the resources were just lacking for them. And then the pandemic hit, and then it just brought all of that to the forefront to show the disparities even more so. So at that point, I realized something needs to be done and I need to be the change that I want to see. So that's why I started the chamber, just for more resources for minority businesses. We are intentionally and unapologetically providing resources for minority businesses. They have been lacking in these areas for far too long. And the PPP, which is the Payroll Protection Program, and the EIDL through the SBA, those loans and those bailouts for small businesses just proved at that point when I started doing my research and looking at the SBA spreadsheets with those numbers, it was alarming. The pandemic really it affected everyone, but it disproportionately affected minority businesses and Black businesses. We had 41% of Black businesses that didn't make it, compared to 17% of white businesses, and that's not okay. That's a 24% difference, and that's way too high. That's way too much on both ends. So something needed to be done. So I did some research, and I saw that there were two chamber federations in the country, the National Black Chamber and the U.S. Black Chamber, that will assist with opportunities for minority businesses. So after I did my research, for me, the best fit was the National Black Chamber. So we partnered with them, became a member with them, and they formed sort of like a coaching and mentoring support system for me, along with the New Jersey chapter, the Pennsylvania chapter, and the Illinois chapter. And they were so encouraging and so supportive, and they just, solidify why this was needed here in Delaware, because there hasn't been an attempt of one, or never had a chapter for Delaware Black Chamber ever in the state of Delaware. So it was perfect timing, perfect opportunity. So that's how I knew it was really meant to be, just to bring these resources out there because of what's happening in society right now, the climate currently in our country when it comes to social injustice and other things like that. Other organizations are banding together to help affect change with minorities. So it really was perfect timing.
Perfect indeed. And you're making sure that you are bridging the gap and actually connecting Black business owners to these resources that you made mention to. But speak to us in particularly about why you chose the name Black as opposed to African American. There is a buzz around town right now. A lot of people know about the Delaware Black Chambers of Commerce. Give us a little bit insight in regards to that, because as we all know, the census has just been completed. A lot of minorities sometimes struggle with identification when it comes to the census. I know for Latinos, do you put Hispanic, non-Hispanic? There's so many derivatives in regards to what makes us as one person. Talk to us about your take on that in regards to choosing the word Black as opposed to African American.
So definitely. With starting this chapter here in Delaware, I did have the opportunity on calling it the Delaware African American Chamber or the Delaware Black Chamber. And for me, I identify as a Black woman first and foremost. I'm Trinidadian American, and my family is of mixed heritage. So I have African and East Indian heritage from both my parents. One is Indian and one is African, and I identify with both. So for me, I'm a Black woman first. I am not an African American. So I wanted to have a name that identify with me. As a person, I know we are in America. It's African American is a term, and it's a term that's used, on a federal level. However, an African American can be an African that's American. That can be a white person as well. You know what I mean? That can be a Caucasian individual. So for me, I wanted to be specific. So you can be of any heritage, of any culture, and still identify as Black, not just African American. So for me, it's just a broader reach.
And thank you for that insight, because as you just educated, some people forget about that part, about how there are Caucasians who live in Africa too. So thank you for bringing us some light to that. But you've newly launched the Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce, and already you've seen significant growth in your membership. Talk to us about that.
Yes. So when we initially launched, the feedback was amazing and overwhelming. Folks were reaching out to me. Literally, my phone does not stop ringing. My email box is insane. Every morning, literally, folks are reaching out because they understand that this was needed. That's what they tell me. This has been needed for such a long time. This is what we've been missing in the state of Delaware. We need a chamber that is going to, cater and assist with our needs, some hand holding, if you will, because, the numbers is alarming in Delaware, where businesses was saying, hey, I didn't get a bail, or I'm getting a text messages saying, hey, we had to close, we didn't make it through COVID. Hey, we're selling our business because we didn't make it, we didn't get these resources. For whatever reason, these bailouts was not tailored for African Americans or Black businesses. They just were not. So they were automatically edged out, So with this chamber, in 30 days, we've already given $4,000 to 2 of our members. And this category was specifically Black-owned bars and restaurants. And we had 2 members in 30 days that joined us that met that criteria, and they each got $2,000 a piece. And these are also 2 businesses that did not get any bailout. One business, and you guys will get to see that in the future, because we will be putting that out there where they can provide testimonies and speak to their experiences themselves, because these are real and true life stories. We have 2 viable businesses that support their family but could not get any support because maybe they don't have payroll. So what does that look like? How can we get this company on board to all their back office and ducks in a row, so to speak, to apply for these funding resources? So we were able to help them. They were super grateful, saying that at least they can make rent now for the month and things like that. So these are the stories that we want to hear. Even though it's $2,000, it's still a major help for them to help sustain their business. And then we can move forward with education, training and development, and other resources they're going to need on the back end to apply for more opportunities and bigger opportunities.
Now let's just take a moment, Ayanna, to digress and soak that in. Like I said, you just launched the Delaware Black Business Chamber of Commerce, and already you've helped Black business owners secure the $4,000 you just mentioned. You're making an impact. You saw the need, and you're joining hands and partnerships with other organizations. What does this mean to you at this moment right now? I know sometimes as a working person, we don't celebrate the small wins or the big wins, but this is a true testament to what dedication looks like when you see a need in the community and you step out and you say, you know what, no, this needs to happen regardless of what fears I might have aligned here. I know I can do this, and you went ahead and did it, and now you are helping these businesses that have suffered during the pandemic.
Yeah. For me, I'm just on go, right? I'm just on go. I'm on 10, so to speak, all the time. So I really don't have time to just sit back and say, oh, wow, my team definitely, they're always reflecting on how amazing we've been doing in just 1 month. So I'm really, really, really grateful for the amazing team that I have. I have a great assistant, Jenny Hott. She came on board from day 1 and has been super supportive, keeps me on track, and we get things done. We divide and conquer, and we get things done together. And I have an amazing advisory board of 9 professionals in the community that are all entrepreneurs in their own right. Some may work for major corporations as well, but they understand the plight of the small business. And it's all about the support. It's really all about the support. We have other chambers that have been publicly supporting us. We have people that see the need for this. And that just solidifies it for me, getting the in-kind space where I'm at right now at Helping One More Entrepreneur in Middletown, offering us this space to build the chamber up. The Delaware State Chamber also offering us an in-kind space in Wilmington so we can have a presence there. And just all the elected officials and everyone else that I have been having meetings with every day, that see the need for it. And realize that, this is greatly needed, and we need everyone, all hands on deck. That's my hashtag, all hands on deck. We really need everyone to help grow our economy, and we can do that by helping the minority businesses that need the assistance to do so.
And Ayanna, the Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce has also extended its reach with the Women's Business Center and the SCORE Foundation to provide additional resources in regards to education, webinars, training, things of that nature. Talk to us about that partnership.
I absolutely love the staff at the Women's Business Center. They have been super supportive from day one when I decided that I wanted to start Khan Consulting. They helped me get all my ducks in a row, helped me become a certified MBE, WBE for the state of Delaware. I actually learned how to write a business plan through taking their Business Starters program, and now that's one of the services that I offer through my consulting business that's allowing other startups and other entrepreneurs to secure funding because of that comprehensive business plan. They've always been supportive. I facilitate classes for them. And once I shared with them that I was starting this new endeavor, they were all on board. How can we help? They hosted our first info session. We had 78 people register for that event using their platform. They're amazing and always supportive. So we're going to be doing a lot of partnerships there. SCORE as well. Eric, the CEO of SCORE, he's amazing. He saw how much this organization is needed in this state, and then they became a member right away. And we have two amazing individuals on our advisory board that are also certified SCORE mentors. And we plan on getting more of our members that are experts in their industry certified with SCORE, because we do need more minority business owners to be SCORE mentors. That way they have someone that looks like them, that been through the challenges that they've been through, to assist them with the coaching and advice and mentorship that they need, because they have experienced it themselves, right? Not just a textbook format of that. So we need more of that. So that's going to be a great partnership as well. And we appreciate SCORE for doing that. We have United Way, only the largest nonprofit in the state of Delaware, to also be on board. They've secured a membership with us, and they've been very supportive as well with getting us going and started as a nonprofit here in the state as well.
That's tremendous support right here in Delaware alone. Yes. It's amazing to hear that.
Yes. It's very heartwarming and it's very encouraging. And, you know, as humans, we need that support and encouragement to keep going. We really can't do it alone.
That's right. And let's get into the membership part of it. There's 4 tiers. Talk to us about the membership side, and also what one will receive. What are some of the benefits?
So our chamber is doing things a little differently. So we're starting off with the student membership. That is $100 annually, and that is for high school and college students. We're looking into getting middle school on board as well, because you need to start children young, really, as far as middle school, not just at high school and college level. So we're thinking of probably incorporating that aspect. We want to get our students trained, educated, and developed in either whatever pathway they decide, whether it's the workforce, getting into the workforce, working with a corporation, or going into entrepreneurship. We want to partner them with successful businesses through our membership base that are in their in their pathway or in the industry that they have interest in. We want to get young people into the trade. Also, trade is having a trade is very lucrative, and we want to also educate on that aspect of it, that you don't necessarily have to go to college. College is not for everyone, or get into entrepreneurship, but there's lots of trades out there that you can get into, and especially for women, a lot of these trades don't have a lot of women involvement. So we want to get more young people involved there, and we can get them internships with our membership base as well. Our second tier is for the home-based business or the solopreneur. We want to get them involved if they decide they want to scale. We also have home businesses that are bringing in $500,000 to $1 million as well. So we welcome them on board to join us and, teach our other home-based businesses how it's done. How did you accomplish these goals, even as a homemade business? Then we have the small business tier, and that is for businesses that have 2 to 10 full-time employees. We also have the non-profit tier, small nonprofit and large nonprofit. That's $300 for small nonprofit, $600 for large nonprofit. And again, that falls under 2 to 10 full-time employees, at 300, 10 or more full-time employees at 600. And last but not least, we have our corporate tier, and that's also 600 a year. And that's sort of like our introductory, so to speak, rates, because once we did our research, we fall right in between what the other chambers are doing in the state. So those tiers may change and develop over time, but that's our starting membership tiers.
Okay, and I know we are currently experiencing the COVID-19 pandemic. However, it has not stopped the work that you're doing. So talk to us about what's next for Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce.
We have about 6 months of events lined up to get on the calendar and to get out to everyone. However, this week we have our second info session hosted by us, me and my team, of course, right here at this location here in Middletown. We'll be virtual, and it's just another opportunity to let our members and prospects know of all the benefits that we offer, from grant funding opportunities, capital, revenue generating opportunities, the programming that we have coming up through SCORE, through, getting state and federal contract opportunities, doing business with the state of Delaware. And the state of Delaware have been very, very supportive. Delaware Division of Small Business will be partnering with us and endorsing us and becoming members of us as well, to get other minority businesses throughout the state approved for the Delaware Relief Grant of $30 million. So we're super excited about that partnership, and them, also understanding that this chamber is needed, for a broader reach for the minorities in the state. And just lots of other programming coming down the pipeline. You have to visit our website, www.debcc.org. Follow us on all social media platforms so you can be up to date on the events and programming. So, we advise everyone to join us. If you have questions or concerns, we're always a phone call or an email away as well. So we have a lot in store.
Thank you so much. It sounds so interesting. And I'm just so proud about the growth that you've already made. And I'm looking forward to see what else comes from the Delaware Black Chambers of Commerce. So congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, you're welcome. And outside of that, I just kind of want to switch gears, because there is another side of you, and it truly speaks to the way you give back to our community. For so many years, you've been part of American Cancer Society. Talk to us a little bit about why you found the need to give back to that organization and make an impact in our community in that way.
Yeah, I basically got involved with the American Cancer Society back in 2005, and I have been, this year I didn't, but since 2005, I've helped with the fundraising efforts for the American Cancer Society, specifically making strides against breast cancer. I've always created a team, and we did the walk every year. That is just something that's near and dear to my heart. I had a high school friend that died of cancer at the age of 35, leaving 2 small children behind. She had a double mastectomy, so it's kind of near and dear to my heart. We also had breast cancer scares within my family, and thankfully those didn't progress into anything more, but not everyone is that fortunate. Breast cancer is killing women at a rapidly increasing rate. So, that charity is just close to me, to get the education out on breast health and fundraising for that. I also have a daughter, and I also want to be a good example for her, and giving back to the community, as well as educating her on the importance of breast health, is a 2-for-1 with supporting this organization.
Thank you so much. I did want to take a brief moment to highlight that, because the month of October was Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and especially minority communities, we need to encourage one another to get their breast exam and to understand that this is something that many people might not see as a big issue until it actually happens when they get tested. But we want to make sure you get your annual exams and to promote our health, as we should say, for minority women.
Yes, definitely. So important. I had a happy birthday gift from my doctor this year in January, where I got my first mammogram. And it's really not as bad as you think it is. You know, there's a stigma that, you know, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. But I had a really gentle experience. It was a great staff. And it's not that bad. And if you can just go through a few minutes of uncomfortability, to get yourself tested, why not? You know, it's for the greater good. You know, so you can continue to be here, and because we need women, right? We definitely need women, and you know, breast health is very important, and that's just a part of being a woman.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today, Ayanna. It's been truly a pleasure to have you on In Focus today.
Thank you so much, Yesenia. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for watching this episode of In Focus. It's been an honor to bring before you the story behind Ayanna Khan and the Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce. For future showings of In Focus, be sure to tune in to WITN 22 by following us on Facebook at WITN 22 Wilm and subscribing to our YouTube channel at WITN Channel 22. I've been your host, Yesenia Taveras. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.